seems to work. And we've got that one there, we're beautiful, it's toasty in there, but we're a bit too cosy in there, we've got us all jammed in there. And so our projector, we couldn't, from there to there was too far. And so we had, that's why we had a few days, but it's lovely to see you. Thanks for coming. And they will have a presentation, and there's a few things you might like to see, so we might just see within the chairs here so we can see that. That's all doable. So, lovely to see you. So, what I'd like to do first of all is tell you about us. Most of us are from the Seventh-day Adventist Church at Oxford, and we love food, we love good quality food, and particularly cooking with plants, as per the moment. And we'd like to tell you a little bit about what we've got for you tonight. So, we've got some soups, and we're starting with a simple tofu soup. Our guest friend Angie, she's got a real simple Asian recipe, and I made it about a week ago. It was really, really simple. And it was beautiful, and we can all do it, so it's a good one to try. But I've got, we can email you the recipes, or we're starting a Facebook page which you can definitely get all to about later. So that's a really simple Asian soup. Then we've got a curried carrot soup. Now this one is a real bomb. It's really, if you sit, it'll fix it, I shouldn't say it, but you know, it feels like it anyway. It's got lots of carrots, but it's also got lemon, garlic, ginger, coriander, cumin, and it sounds like a lot, and sounds like too much cayenne, but actually I just loved it when I first had it. I made it with girls, those two girls with the beautiful hair, like that, a couple of weeks ago, man, it was nice, so I hope you enjoy that. And Rochelle, can you tell us about your green detox soup?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you the story about it. My mum and I watched Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead. I don't know if you've heard of this. I watched number 1 and I was inspired, and I watched number 2 as well. And then my mum, she was so enthusiastic, and she was like, you should see the website, they've got heaps of recipes. So the green detox soup was something she made. She's like, oh, try this, and I was like, okay. But it was really quite palatable. So I thought that's an easy one. So we have a nice variation of colour tonight, and it's perfectly good for you. So that's a short and a long one.
So try all of them by all means. Don't think you only have one. You know, have fun at the community one. Then we've had fun making bread, and the girls and their dad made the party broths. Look at these little beautiful things here. So that you can just break off one of those buns each. And I also made this amazing thing here. Look, this ekmek bread. Look at that. Doesn't it look magnificent? Oh, you'll be able to see it. So how did you make that, Jean-Marc?
Well, yes, ekmek bread is like a traditional Turkish bread. It just, we were just looking through the pages and it looked fantastic. But it was all white flour, and so we thought we'd mix it up a bit and make it more nutritious, so we went half and half. So it's got a bit more chewing than just white bread, but obviously it'd be better for you too.
Good. And then I made this ciabatta bread here, and this ciabatta bread, it actually takes 24 hours to make, so that makes me sound like a real saint. But in actual fact, it's a lot of time when you're leaving the yeast to do stuff for a long period of time. But it took from 9 o'clock on Saturday night when I first made the yeasty thing, through to 9 o'clock on Sunday night when I finally put it out in the oven. Yeah, so it's quite a long process, but it's quite fun, it's quite neat. And one thing about this particular bread, is often enough when I make bread, you might be different to me, but when I make bread, it's nice the first day, but the second day it's not that great, by the third day it's really bad. This bread, by day 4, it's still beautiful. I'm amazed, what it keeps, without anything special. So it's a good one, but it just takes that really organised, that you're at home for 24 hours. Yeah, so that's a nice one to try. Then we've got some vegan garlic butter. So that's made with coconut oil and oilseed rape oil. Now that we grow on our farm, like you might have seen the side, I don't know if you have seen the side, but we grow oilseed rape, and there's a paddock on Oxford Road with a sign on it saying, the good oil that you see that brown bottle of yellow, well that comes from our farm. And there's a few other, often you see these bright yellow paddocks, that's the oilseed rape. And so that's what has gone into the butter here with coconut oil and a bit of garlic and a bit of turmeric to make it look yellow. So that's good. And then we've got some seed crackers here, which I'll give you a demonstration on later on. So that's it. I think I've covered everything.
Guacamole.
Oh yeah, guacamole. Really easy to make. 2 minutes. All it is, who can tell me how you make guacamole? What's the main ingredients?
Avocado.
Avocado.
Tomato, garlic.
Yeah. Not tomato, put tomato tomato, some people put tomato in, yeah. What I've got in this one is avocado, garlic, lemon, and also, yeah, in the food processor. And that's it, it's just 2 minutes, it's wonderful. So, great way to use up any avocados that you might have spare. Not that they often are spare. Good. So I hope you enjoy that. But just before we start, we'd like to offer grace. I think John, would you like to offer grace?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, John.
Let's close our eyes. Dear Jesus, we thank you so much that we're here tonight, and we pray that you'll bless this food that we're about to eat, and look forward to eating it. And we thank you for creating it, and for those hands that prepared it as well, that we may enjoy what you have. We thank you, may we enjoy our time here tonight in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thanks, John. So, Kate, would you like to lead the way? Come and just grab a plate, and we'll take these lids off here, and then we'll go away. Thanks. Here.
I like the black quinoa rice. How do I decide which one to get? I'm going to piece of each of these
coconut cream, just hot one. Water is and I put helium husk to firm it. Use
So
but it doesn't give good color, so I put a little more
cinnamon.
cinnamon.
Okay? And now, with my other bit of wood that Sophie got me, I'm going to just use my hand and squish it all down. And I'm going to use this to wet my hand because you need to have it. If you don't use it, a wet hand, you'll have it all stuck to your hand. You have a big glove of this stuff. So I'm just going to go like this, whoopsie. And I'm just going to go up and push it all out like that. You could use a rolling pin if you wanted to, but this is more fun. It's a nice thing to do with kids, they love this sort of thing. Yeah. So basically, that's why you put it in half, that's why you don't use the whole amount. Because if I use the whole amount, you wouldn't be able to get it thin enough on one tray. It's got to be about just under half a centimetre thick, something like that. If it's too thick, it will just be too thick in the middle and it won't dry out when you bake it. And you bake it in the oven for about an hour, but it depends what your oven's like. See, the recipe says an hour, but my oven does it in 45 minutes. So it depends what your oven's like. So I've put an hour in the recipe, which you'll get in your when we send the recipes out to you. But just go by what your oven says, how your oven operates. Mine is a really hot beastie.
What temperature?
170.
170?
Yeah. Thanks, Jenny. So just make it as thin as you can, you know, no gaps. I've got a few around here, just something happens, just go like that. And that goes in the oven. Oopsie, just a bit more here. It's a bit thick just here, I can feel it's a bit thick just here. Like that. So, that. Yeah. So that'll go in the oven for about, 45 minutes to an hour, something like that. Okay?
Do you store it before you cook it, or do you don't know?
Because it's too big seeds in it.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
if you had smaller seeds you could. But no need to do that. So you put that in the oven for, as I say, 3/4 an hour. And then you take it out, and when you take it out, it's funny because it basically comes out like just like one big biscuit, like that. So it's easy to, and then you just break it off in shards, Jenny,
Okay.
pieces like that. And that way you saw them, yeah. But so what you do is you bake that for about 3/4 an hour, and then take it out and cool it down. Then turn it upside down and put it back in the oven because you'll find the middle is still quite uncooked. So you put it on much lower, say about 130. For another 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Just watch it though, you don't want to overdo it. And then you'll find it will dry nicely like that, and that's it. Yeah. And then you just break them up and put it in an airtight container. It keeps quite a long time. Yeah. Very good for you. Really incredibly healthy. You know, a lot of the crackers you buy, you look at the ingredients on them, they're just, wow, just not brain food. This is brain food. This will keep you, the best you can do to keep yourselves with a happy brain, a real big brain. Yeah. So have a go if you'd like to. Yeah. So on that note, I think there's just one more thing that Rochelle's going to talk to you about, and that will be, we'll wind up our evening. So I just want to get Rochelle there. Rochelle, you need to set it up one up? So let me get rid of all this because Rochelle's going to show you this, and I'll get it right down here somewhere too, didn't I?
I can use the outside of the table. So I have just to show you, because when Gina and I were going through how to word it so that it makes sense, we realised, actually what makes sense to one person doesn't always make sense to the next. So what I have here is a cup. I'll measure it out. A cup of grated pumpkin, just a little bit of vegetable oil. You want a running, like sunflower or canola or whatever. 2 tablespoons of walnut, a tablespoon of maple syrup, and a quarter teaspoon of mixed spice. And so then, all you do is you take your filo pastry, and I'm only going to use 2 sheets now. But if you're making the whole packet, it's useful to just keep the whole lot there. And I don't have a brush now, but we would just sort of spread it. Yeah.
Is that just oil that we show?
No, this is oil.
Oh, right.
So you just put a bit of oil on one, and I'm just going to flip it over so that it's between the 2 sheets. Just like that. And then what I'm going to do is, let's see, this. So I'm going to just, yeah, this will be too much. Then I take my mixed herbs, sorry, mixed spice. Yeah, we want that there. Yeah, and then some maple syrup. You can use honey or coconut sugar, yes, that would give it a nice flavour as well. And just get it all incorporated very nicely. And then you just lightly spread it. You don't want a lot of thick clumps, because then you'd have too much pumpkin in one place. And about a cup is enough for one roll. Less is more. So if you do have a little bit left over, rather leave it for your next sheet. One packet had about 8 rolls. And I'm wondering, Gina,
Yeah.
to make this one especially for Jenny,
Oh,
do you have some extra pumpkin seeds or something? Yeah. Just so that you can take something home. I won't bake it here because otherwise you'll have to wait another 20 minutes. So we'll put it in a little container for you, and you can just, at 180 for 20 minutes.
right.
Do you have some cooking spray or some oil?
I
You can
have,
brush
yes.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just brush it afterwards. So we'll just put a few. It's not going to be as nice as maybe some
Cashew
cashew
sunflower as well.
sunflower.
Is some there?
Yeah.
Well, it will be rice and meat.
Yeah. No, but what I mean is, you can replace it with any nut that
Right.
you are able to.
Yeah.
I tried some a few weeks ago with cashew nuts just because I ran out of walnuts and it was quite good. So, yeah, the cashew nuts are nice and creamy as well. So there we go, just sprinkle some nuts.
It's quite light on that, eh? You don't want to do with that.
No, because you're going to roll it up, and that's when, so you just make sure you've got both sheets, sort of just make a little lip there, and then
Kids would love to do that, wouldn't they?
yeah, but this is where the delicate part starts. You need to, I know some of you have noticed some of that sort of broken a little bit. So at this point you can have a nice big dish. You can really make it any way you want.
Right.
I've seen that most of them have the spiral pattern, like they have a big dish and they would take one big sausage and put it in until it all fills up. Or some of them do them the same way that you do baklava. You have the straight ones sort of wrinkled up a little bit. Yeah, so you can really just have fun and do it the way you want. But for demonstration purposes, you just lightly roll it, because if you go too sharp, it breaks. It's already starting to break there a little bit. And then you put it in your oiled pan. Once you've got your pan full or whatever, you just lightly grease it or spray it. Rub the oil on whichever. If you've got cooking spray, you can just spray it. 180, 20 minutes, and you're good to go. So I'm going to put this as is in a little container for Jenny to take home.
I see.
And she can bake it. Yeah, you want to cover it because filo paste dries out quite quickly and then it just cracks.
Right.
So
It's like 30
So you didn't get, yeah,
Big.
You also have to try to make the coconut cream and then No, I ate the coconut cream with those things like that. That was amazing.
So now that we're done, basically, I want to ask, did you guys all enjoy it? Was it worth your while, worth your time? And what would you like us to do next? Because we're flexible, we can come up with lots and lots and lots of nice things, but we also want to speak to your needs. We want this to be a conversational thing when we get to know each other and we help each other out with, because eating healthy sometimes feel like a mountain. You just feel like, oh, I don't even know where to start. And so it doesn't have to be that way, and that's what we want to be here for, to make those connections. So, so please speak to us. Do you have any thoughts for next week or next month? Not yet, maybe? No, that's fine. We were thinking of just having a theme for this winter, making comfort foods a healthy go-to, because that's, I don't know about you, I'm a sucker for comfort food. So, and we all know that winter foods are not always the healthiest because they're so loaded with fats and everything.
Comfort.
Yes.
And comfort.
Yes. So we don't have a menu for next month, but we want your feedback if you have something that you want us to address. Otherwise, we will come up with lots of ideas, so you won't have a boring meal. And then, lastly, if you can just, how are we going to go with emails?
So I've got everyone's phone number or email, so I can send you all the recipes. And a link to the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Which has got the recipes and these presentations if you need that. But the one thing I would like to say is if anyone wants a pumpkin, please take one. Because I've got 85 pumpkins at home, which I do not know what to do with. Okay, so please help me.
So you have no excuse not to know how to use them. So I made this, I don't know how many I've left over here. That would be 5. So one packet makes about 8, and I used 2. So this is the third one, and I had half a pumpkin that was about this size. So invite a whole bunch of people over and make them some fancy pumpkin.
Yeah, it's quite a different pumpkin pie, isn't it? Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's quite nice. Bulgarian Tiffany.
Yeah.
I think next time we ask Gina to teach us to make a little cake.
Oh, Angie.
That's just the one you have to ask, not me.
Yeah.
She's hiding behind the door.
She'll have to do a split open. So, is that it?
Very good. Well, thanks for coming, everyone. And if you enjoyed it, we'll do it. We're aiming to do it the third Monday of each month. So bring others along if you'd like to. If we've got more people, we might move into there. Or we could put more tables in that little room there for the eating, and then for the presentation, we could just get people to move to there. Might be easier. We'll see how we roll. Yeah.
Was it okay moving around and all that stuff? We want all the critique we can get from you.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway,
It's such a treat to be looked after.
oh, good. You're welcome. Yeah. Yes, good. Well, good night, everyone. But as I say, don't forget to take pumpkin if you would like. Please. Very good.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yeah.
Hi. Let's get this out of the way.
Yeah, the